What's going on, guys? Stephen Jean here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about books. These 4 books that changed my life. I'm going to tell you why they changed my life. I just want to preface this by saying I only really got back into reading about a year and a half ago when the lockdown started, and I'm really glad that I did. You know, my mental health has improved quite a bit. I've broadened my perspective reading about other people's experiences. I've learned more about myself. I've improved my vocab, my communication skills. There's so many benefits. I could go on and on about it. Book number 1, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I love this book. This title's jokes. The writer's hilarious, Mark Manson. You might think from the title that this book is just not giving a fuck about anything or not caring about anything in the world, but it's really not about that. It's about having a limited amount of fucks in a day and allocating them efficiently, basically not caring about things that really don't matter and putting all our mental energy into things that we really value and bring meaning into our lives. So I definitely needed to read this book because I was putting too much energy into things that really didn't matter. The first takeaway is that happiness comes from solving problems. I really like how Mark Manson explains how, as human beings, we're kind of programmed to think that problems are a bad thing. And, we don't want to have problems. We want to become rich and successful so that we have no problems because that's how it is. But it really isn't like that. We're always going to have problems no matter where we end up. We end up just trading our current problems for better problems. And, we're always going to have these problems. And, they give us happiness when we solve them. The second takeaway here is the fault responsibility fallacy. This is a cool little concept because Manson talks about how, in society today, people like to be the victim. They like to feel pity. And he talks about how, this doesn't really serve anyone. It doesn't benefit anybody. There are things in life that are out of our control and that happen to us that are, it's bad luck and it's not our fault at all. But he argues that, no matter what happens, it's our responsibility to bounce back. And, how we feel and react is our responsibility. So Atomic Habits by James Clear is the next book. Anybody who's into productivity hacks, building good habits, breaking bad ones, this is the book for you. You should read this immediately. James Clear is an amazing writer. So basically, this book is all about how small, consistent actions add up over time and they compound. It's just something amazing. First takeaway here is that Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. You don't have to do it all today, just lay a brick. That's how you build an empire. He has this cool illustration. It's, this 1% better every day improvement thing. And it really shows how far this thing can go. So if you get 1% better every day, you become 37 times better by the end of the year, which is just like... Second takeaway here is, he kind of talks about it throughout his entire book, but it's more so, when building a good habit, like a new habit, you have to do 4 things. You got to make it obvious, you got to make it attractive, easy, and satisfying. Third book here is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Really like this one a lot. Dr. Maltz talks a lot about, the self-image. So he was a plastic surgeon, so he brings a really unique perspective. So with the self-image, he talks about how it influences sort of our, daily existence, everything that we do. Obviously how we think about ourselves, how we think about other people, our goal setting, what we strive for, expectations, it's ingrained in everything. So he talks about, methods and strategies on how to change your self-image. The torpedo accomplishes its goal by going forward, making errors, and continually correcting them. Really good quote because, it's highlighting how failure can be used as feedback. We can use failure as a tool to get us to success faster. So this has really helped me out because, just being, human, just fearing failure and rejection has really held me back in the past. And this sort of just brings to light how failure is a source of information that just makes the picture clearer for us and can accelerate us to success even faster than before. David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, the final book. If you haven't heard of David Goggins, please pause this video and look him up right now. An absolute legend, an absolute savage. If you read this book, you will become a savage too. You see here on the front here, he used to be really overweight, and now he's this absolutely shredded freak in crazy shape. He talks about his life experience, how he grew up, with racism. He grew up in an abusive family. He was really going nowhere in life in his mid-20s, and then he just like turned it all around, and it's just this legendary comeback story. He talks about how suffering is the true test of life and how it's going to bring us meaning, purpose, and happiness in our lives. And, like I mentioned before, like people don't want to be, uncomfortable. They hate discomfort and pain, but he says that we need to actively seek it out, to get to the other side, get to where we want to go in life, and, get that fulfillment. So it's really cool. First takeaway here is talking about the cookie jar. So the cookie jar is a place where David Goggins would store his past successes. It's either metaphorical or a physical cookie jar in which he would write down his past victories, every time he's overcome adversity or hardship, and he'd store it here. And whenever he was feeling, discouraged or down on himself or sort of doubting himself about anything that he was trying to do, he would go back to this cookie jar to remind himself of how strong he was and how much of a badass he is. And, it actually propelled him forward and gave him that little boost he needed mentally to overcome what was in front of him right there. Second takeaway is definitely the 40% rule. So the 40% rule, David Goggins says, states that when our mind is telling us to give up on something and just quit because it's too uncomfortable and we can't do any more, we're really only at 40% of our maximum capacity. So we're leaving 60% potential on the table, which is just, that's insane. So it really has gotten me to work harder in my workouts, to work till actual failure, till like I physically can't go anymore, and just work harder in school and just like, grinding and everything in life. And it's just that savage mentality where it's like, you have to override the feelings that your brain is telling you, I want to quit right now. It's like, nah, like you want to quit, but you can go further. That's it for today, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any book recommendations for me, just leave them in the comments section or just personal message me. I always like hearing recommendations from people. And yeah, I'm gonna be coming out with some videos for like bicep workout and push-up challenge, so stay tuned for that. And subscribe and like if you haven't, the usual stuff. Keep it real. I'm out.